We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Valspar Ultra starts at just $29.98 a gallon. So we've got you covered when your daughter wants to paint her room again, after last year's masterpiece of a unicorn mural.
Dad, please.
Or when you realize that maybe you went too hard on the grayish.
I miss color.
Or when you were sure you wanted a home gym, but your elliptical is currently hanging your laundry.
What about a home office?
Shop everything you need for your next phase with Valspar. Available at Lowe's. Price varies by Shein.
Ever get the feeling you're being watched online? It's Data Brokers. They collect your personal info, your browsing habits, where you live, and who you're related to, and then sell it to the highest bidder. Aura helps stop that. Aura automatically removes your personal info from data broker sites and keeps it off. It also monitors the dark web, protects your devices, alerts you to real-time threats, and more. Start your free trial at aura.com/listen. That's AURA.com/listen for your free trial.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Sophia Mengrosso.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So I love always opening the show with just, I always say that our childhood kind of charts our trajectory of like where we're going to be going in life, like our little habits, the things that we pick up. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And how did you kind of find your way into music?
Okay, so my parents don't have any background in music. And that kind of happens, I wouldn't say by accident, but almost by accident, because I had a friend and she had a piano at her house, and I always wanted to play the piano, and my mom didn't take that seriously. She thought it would be just like a toy, and I would be tired of it. And I think I was like 5 years old. But eventually I talked her into taking me to a class where I could practice piano, and I loved it. And I knew that's what I wanted to be doing. But she thought that, no, I think it's just a waste of time.
Oh,
But I loved it. And so I continued attending classes. And eventually I picked up another instrument. I loved harp.
nice.
So I started playing harp, and then some years after that, I took voice lessons with an opera singer, and I just continued learning like it was ongoing process year after year. So yeah, I guess I'm very thankful to my mom for sticking up for me and just letting me do what I really enjoy doing, instead of just thinking, oh, it's not worth it. It takes
Yeah.
so much time. And but overall, I think I'm very happy about my childhood, and I had amazing people around me, and very kind and loving, and so very thankful.
That's amazing. I love that you had supportive parents that, like you said, didn't like look at it like, oh, it's nothing. I feel like that's
Yeah.
so important, when you're starting out and developing your skill set. So tell me a little bit about your single. What was the inspiration behind Unforgiven, and like your personal journey, that it represents for you?
Yeah, that was very special for me. So I would say right now, all of my music is about my personal experience, just because it's very healing.
Yeah.
And why not? Like that's what music is for.
Mhm.
And Unforgiven is very, very special because it just helped me to close a chapter from my past. And I want to say one thing. I know people are talking about how you have to forgive and
Mm.
forget. However, I think it's true, because if you really are genuine and you can do that, that's great. But
Yeah.
a lot of times it's just that we pretend to forgive, like it's always there hanging, and it's just like you pretend you don't notice it, but it's really bothering you. At least that's what my experience is. I'm not, trying to say that everyone should do that. Well, anyway, I find ways to heal myself through music.
Mm.
And that single I dedicate to one person that I do want to forgive. And I think I did. I think I did a great job doing that. But um, I think me dedicating that single to that person really helped me to move on, move forward, and um, just leave whatever feelings I had towards that person, and just saying thank you. I'm thankful for all the experiences I have. And they might not be always good experiences, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, I look back and I think that was a great lesson, and it made me grow and made me strong. So I'm thankful again. So it's a way to say thank you
Yeah.
for everything. And I don't want to hold anything against that person or just keep analyzing. I just want to move forward, and I did. And
I love that.
sometimes I like to go back and reclaim my power from my past and face my fears and face the shadows. And I think there is a lot of strength in those moments. And I don't think that you should pull away from it and you should just run away and you should forget. And I think you have a right to claim back what you think that you just left there. And if it's draining you, I always go back to my past. I don't think that past is past, forget about it. For me, if I was there, that means, I have the right to take back, my powers, my energy. And that's what that
Mhm.
single is about. Yeah.
Yeah, taking back that power. And I think that's
Yeah.
so interesting. And honestly, it's like almost like like a therapy, like very therapeutic almost, it's like and healing and I love that you said it's okay to go back to the past, because I think for so many you hear a lot people say, oh well, you shouldn't go back to the past, forgive
Yeah.
and forget. But do we actually forget? And I think sometimes it's good to remember, so that we don't go back to that, or we know how that feeling made us feel in that moment, so we don't like relapse or fall into like a
Yeah.
pattern, so I feel like that's super important.
And
Love
I also think that the only way to not go back to the past is if you feel like you're done, you finished, but if
that.
you don't have that, you're not sure, you don't have that feeling that, yes, for sure, I'm certain I don't want to go back. You will go back. And so why not, do something about it? So yeah, that single has kind of a lot of things into it. It's just like
Yeah.
one thing after another. And there is a lot, but I think I feel accomplished now after I wrote that song. And I feel like I'm good now.
Good.
I can close that.
What I and I'm curious, what your process for writing or making, art creatively, um what's that like for you? Like, how involved are you when it comes to making music? Are you in like the producer's room? Are you there like looking at everybody's, what they're doing? And like, how involved are you in the process of making music?
I'm I want to say I'm very involved, especially right now.
Yeah.
So I write my music, I play it on my piano, and then I take it to the studio. And of course, I have other musicians that
Mhm.
play instruments that I don't play. So I can't do it all by myself. And even if I could, I wouldn't want to, because I love people and I want to be around people, and everybody's so talented. And it's actually crazy, like you just meet all these amazing musicians and everyone has their own input. Um, so the process is just like I write my music and I go to the studio and I'm there all the time. I don't just leave something up to the people, even though I trust them so much. But
Mhm.
it's just I very much appreciate all the time we spend together. And the time goes by so fast, and it's like never enough time, and everyone has to move on with their own things they do, because everyone has their own lives. So I try to always be there, and I think I'm doing a good job in there. I mean, there are some moments where when I do have to leave, but for most of the time, we're all staying together, but just everyone has their different views, and that helps to stick together and discuss and improvise together.
Yeah, I love that. S- So I have a a fun question. There's no wrong answer, but the three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. And if you could choose one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
I want to choose respect, because for me, music or just your journey in life, it's just so short if you think about it, just life in general, like it's very short. And we all know that, but like for my example, I went recently somewhere far away, and I saw amazing architectural buildings and like evidence of life that was like thousands of years ago. Like it
Yeah.
was, and I remember I was standing on top of the hill and looking down at the ocean and the city, and I'm thinking like I'm really like nothing here.
Yeah.
Like if I disappear right now, nothing will change.
Right.
Like people will not even notice. And to me, if you have this limited time, at least make something about respect and teach something. You learn and you teach, you pass down, next generation, your knowledge.
Mhm.
So people have something. I feel like that's the basics of life in general. Like, yes, people want to say money, power, because if you have power, you'll have money, or vice versa. But like if you I mean, it comes down really to basic things like respect. If
Mhm.
out of three, I choose respect because that's like basic things, just like food, water, air. Like, what are you going to choose? Water, air. I mean, it's just like the basic thing that you need in general, respect, to feel good about yourself, or to be able to work with other people, or to work with someone who makes you comfortable. Do you want to work with someone who doesn't respect you, who treats you badly? No one wants to do it. So the basic thing is respect, and everything builds on.
On that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love that. That's a great answer. Great answer. Um, I'm I'm really curious about the creative journey as well. Like I like to talk to a lot of artists, but what I love to hear is the journey, like the ups and downs, because I feel like on social media we post all the good times, the best times. Like, our social media is like perfect. I have a social media manager, and she'll tell me what days to post, and I'm just like, okay. Sometimes like it becomes overwhelming, but I'm curious, do you feel like as a creator in this industry, is it important to also show and talk about, I guess, our lows and also our highs, so that people can also feel like, oh, it's not just perfect all the time.
I think it's very important, especially if um, you are sharing something with the world and people are looking up to you, then absolutely, because I think it's not fair to not show, because I think the moment you take that responsibility on yourself of trying to impose something, whatever that is, it doesn't have to be music, and you trying to, you translating something, like what's the purpose of you having that social media account, or like something, like there is a purpose, especially if it's open, if you're constantly communicating with people, because I think you are very much responsible for the responses, because there could be young people who just don't have enough experience, and if they see that everything is perfect, and but it's never perfect for anyone, it doesn't matter who you are, like it just doesn't exist. Show me that person who has that perfect life and never has downs, and lows. Like it doesn't exist unless you're like a plastic doll, then maybe you're just standing like still, and like you don't get burned, you don't get cold, you don't need like anything. I think you are responsible to show that and talk about it and how to deal with that too. Not just show, oh, I feel like down today and this is what happened, but I think you need to show how you deal with it. You teach people. And if it might not be perfect, but who cares? Like that's part of experience. Like it's never perfect. No one is perfect. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be a challenge. So, and I love that actually. I mean, you're not going to learn otherwise. How are you going to learn if you don't have a challenge? Like otherwise it's just fake. And I don't like fake. I hate fake. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just me. Like I
agree.
Like I'd rather be not perfect all the time. And, one time I'm perfect and 10 times I'm not, then showing perfect, because this is how life is. And yeah, just talk about it. And if you can teach something, if you can help with advice, that's just so valuable. A lot of people, and including myself too, we might not have the support we need with, let's say, your family or friends. And sometimes just random person that you just met could be more helpful than your father or your husband, or somebody who's just, judging you, or they don't think what you're doing is important. Sometimes I think it's a waste of time. Why are you doing that?
Have you had that? Like someone tell you,
plenty of times, plenty, especially with teachers. In my years of being a student, when I was a student, I've met so many teachers that would put me down. And they were highly educated people, highly educated, like with like degrees, like over, the mountain. And they would just tell me these things, or they would put me into box. And if I get out of that box, that it's impossible. Like this is your destiny. You can't do more than that. It's just like they just program you with fears and insecurities, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't have an answer why they do that, because they were so educated, and now I'm thinking, like, why do you even need to bother to do that to me? You had like this amazing career in life and a lot of things going on for you. What did I do to you? Like what's the benefit? But I think that maybe it's their own insecurities, and then they feel like you can do more than they did, and they try to put you down. And I thought that I would have that support from them, and I was so excited to share something I was working on, and I never got that help, that love from them. So I learned, and again, I'm thankful for that, because that made me stronger. I learned to make my own decision. You have to make your own decisions. You know better what you can do and what you can't do. Or so listening to someone just because they have authorities or paper to show you that here I am, professor of, music, and I can tell you what to do. That's just wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And I appreciate you talking about that. I think a lot of times, we don't share those that is a side of this business that is unfortunate. I think that's anything. If you're, pursuing something creatively, that's not a 9 to 5, or, it's like, oh, well, it's impossible to do. That's silly. That's not an actual job or
Yeah,
career. Um, so I appreciate you sharing that, because I feel like you just have to know what you want to do and love what you do at the end of the day, no matter what people
yeah,
say, because it is tough. It is a tough business to get into and to maintain.
yeah.
Um, for sure. I have a fun question. If you could be managed by any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Mm. So interesting, because I have to pick just one, and oh my God, I have so many choices. So I'm gonna just take a risk and say I want to be managed by Green Day.
Ooh, that's a good one. I love Green Day. I love Green Day. Wow. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one yet on the show. That's the first one. I like that.
Just because I love Green Day and I grew up listening to them. And the
Same.
first song I listened to, like it was, I think it was Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
That's a good one.
And I remember, I think I was at school for sure, and it was like spring, and you're in the mood to not study, like you just want to leave, and you hope like all the lessons will be canceled.
Yeah.
And we heard that song on the radio, and I didn't even know who Green Day was at that time. That's the first song I heard, and I started searching for them, who that was, and I was just like, "Wow, it's perfect." It's just I was already in the mood for like fun and not studying, and I just want to go somewhere. You have like a teenager, you have this urge to just run somewhere. Like I don't know where I want to run, but I
Yeah.
just go somewhere. Just open the doors. And I was just listening and listening to that song constantly. Like I would be on the bus and I would be listening to it with my like little player. At that time we had like players.
Love that. I love that. I thought I was a huge Green Day fan. I had like the posters growing up on my wall, and yeah, I was a bit of a goth girl growing up, and then I just kind of, I don't know, stopped.
Oh, me too. I used to be so buff too. I loved. Have you heard of him?
Oh, yes.
H.I.M.? Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh
Wow,
my
I
God.
love
I
it.
was so in love with Willy Val
Oh, yes. It's just
and that
perfect.
hair.
Yeah. It just same, same, same. That's so cool. Where, if I may ask, where are you originally from?
You're gonna like this one. I'm from Siberia.
Siberia. That's beautiful. I've never been there. Maybe one day.
Yeah,
Maybe one
far
day.
away.
That's cool. That's really cool. Um, So I love ask well, a lot of people who when they listen to this interview or listen to this, this show, they like to, get advice, how do you do it? How do you go about getting into this industry? I mean, it's really difficult, I think, for a lot of people to figure out, like, you know, how do I actually just get started? What
Yeah.
advice would you give to them?
Well, I can talk about how I started is I just wanted to do that. Obviously, first thought like I want to release my music and I want to use all this knowledge I have, and more than knowledge, it was something inside. Like your soul just craves something, and I feel like, oh, I can do more. I know I want to always do more, and I want to express myself, and I'm sure I can find people with similar interests. And just like I was inspired when I was a teenager by Green Day or other bands.
Yeah.
So first thing, if you have that urge inside you and you just know what you want to do, figure out your style, what you like, what you don't like. If you write music, for example, just write music and take it to lets other people look at it, and maybe other musicians play it. If you play an instrument, have someone else play it on a different instrument. This is what I did, because I write my music on my piano, and then like I have my friend who plays guitar, he plays it, and so on. So first step is deciding what you want to do, what style, what you really like, staying true to yourself, because the moment you want to do the like music production and you start listening to this person, to that, and there's so much information. So I think knowing your style first and knowing what you like, what is that feeds your soul, makes you fulfilled. Because if you're gonna do something you don't like doing just for, I don't know, likes, I guess, or for popularity, you're gonna be exhausted very fast.
It's so true.
And I think no one likes fake, you know. I mean, I don't like fake. You don't like fake. Like, it's obvious, you know, when you see someone and you know that this person is just doing it, but they don't like doing that.
Right.
And so now you have your style, you know, what you want to do. You write music or someone writes it for you. I don't know, like I write my music. And of course, have your notes, like music notes, music sheets, everything, put in the file, and take it to the studio, record something, and just put it out there. Really, like, this is what I did. I recorded it and I released it. Like, take advantage of all these tools we have, of the technology we have today. You really don't need anyone
That's
to
true.
tell you. Like, I think it used to be like a long process, I would assume, even for green tea.
Years ago.
Yeah, they would have to take it to someone who liked that, and you know, one person to another. These days, just figure out yourself, or I mean, have some guy who knows technology. Like, honestly, my friend showed me how to put music on Spotify, and now I know how to do that too. And just do it. You have to just do it, honestly. Like, you have to do, if you have something, one thing, if you don't have anything, like, I don't know, what do I write, what type of music, but if you decide already, let's say I love rock right now. I've always loved it, but like, I love rock, this is what I write. So here I have my piece of music, I'm gonna record it. So I recorded it, you know, I mixed and mastered that, so it's ready to be published, and you just publish it.
That's it.
It's like just 3 steps. You just have to do it. The point is, you have to be motivated enough and do it, and not be distracted. And there's no other recipe. It's just like getting started.
Yeah, that's so true.
Just like in everything else. And I was asked similar question the other day, and I just did it. I don't know. And I'm looking back, you know, there were so many reasons for me not to do it. And I was thinking, no one's gonna like it. Or, you know, I could be doing, maybe I should be doing something else. Maybe it's a better idea because, you know, I don't know. You never know, will people like your music? But if that's your thought, you should get rid of that.
Right.
Because it will be always on your way.
Yeah.
You like something and you do it. That's it. Publish it. Publish it, and then see what happens, and then you publish next thing, and just you keep working if that's what you love doing. Just like in anything else, if you want to be a doctor, same thing. Like, how do you become a doctor? Well, you study, you pass the test,
Right.
but there's things to be done, you know. It doesn't happen if you sit on the couch, let's say.
That's true. You're right. Because a lot of people, like, I think that's so important. They forget, like, you just have to start. You know, you think about the greats back, you know, like your, I don't know, Stevie Wonders or Dolly Parton's, people that did it and started. Look at them now. You know, I think it is that it's starting and continuing it. So if you love something, you're gonna keep it going. Absolutely.
And I think just time is, for me, is my most valuable asset, is time. And I learned to really value my time, how I spend it. And everyone should do the same. Like, you wasting your time every day if you're not doing what you love, if you're not taking steps towards your goals, like you're wasting your time. So you're gonna waste it no matter what. Might as well just do something.
Yeah,
But the
absolutely.
time is not waiting for you.
At all.
No.
At all.
Every day we're like closer to the end, if you think about it. And like, why not do that? Why not take risks?
That's it. I like that. Taking a
Yeah.
risk. That's
You have urge inside you. You have to let it out. You know,
Yeah.
I think that the biggest sin of humanity, besides, of course, all the terrible things, you know, I'm not talking about that, but like something really bad that you can do to yourself is not use your talent, is not following, you know, the urge of your soul and heart, and not letting your spirit, you know, express itself, you know, because we all have spirit inside and it's leading us.
Yeah.
And if you just pushing it back and you're not letting it come out, I think that's the biggest sin that you can commit to yourself. And just living life afraid and not trying, even though you can try. Like you have all the tools to try.
You do.
Try it.
You really do.
Don't find excuses. Make a list of goals, not excuses. That's what I'm saying.
I love that. I
Because
love
you
that.
always have excuses, you know, like today, you know, if I wanted to, I could write like 50 excuses why I can't do something. Like everyone can. Like there will always be things that stand on our way. Always.
Yeah. That's so true. There's always something, but you're right. You got to push through those obstacles, or, you know, sometimes you don't feel like you said, you know, making music, or like, you know, taking that meeting, you know, it's a part of the process. For sure. For sure. Um,
Yeah.
your upcoming album, I'm can you talk a little bit about like the inspiration behind that, and what people can expect?
Yeah. It's gonna be it's all my stories on this album. I had an again urge to do that. So um it's kind of my life journey and some experiences that I had and stories that build me.
Okay. Yeah.
Those experiences and those stories really shaped me. And I used to be a lot of times like depressed when something happened. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to live? And that was like 5 years ago. And I'm looking now like, oh my God, what a joke. You know, like, you know, I'm strong. I can do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just again want to repeat myself that I'm very thankful to each person and every time and every experience I had. Because if I didn't have that, I don't know how I would write music today.
Right.
I mean, I still would, but it wouldn't probably have the same meaning. So for me, this album was about the meaning of life. And I think the wisdom that I gained, and just a lot of also personal things, of course, like, you know, there is people involved into that, of course. Without people, who would we write music about if we didn't have other
Right.
people in our life?
Absolutely.
So it's like I can like give a little detail. There was some person that in my life that really drained me, and like that person didn't have, I would say, good habits, but like it was like not good habits at all. And I tried to help that person and save that person. And now I realize that I was wrong. I was committing the crime by saving that person, because that was his lessons, and me trying to go help and pull him out. And I should have just left him where he was. And sometimes we don't have the right to do that. Of course, we always, you know, have to help others, but a lot of times personal choices that people make, we have to respect those choices, and they're not good choices in, you know, in our opinion, but that's what their journey is.
That's right.
And it was just so draining and exhausting, and it just put me somewhere like in a very dark state of mind. And this is how my single was born.
I love it. I love that. I mean, I hate that that happened to you, but I love that what came
Yeah.
out of that, creatively, that can also help someone else, in their journey. So I guess
Yeah.
thank you for
And yeah,
that.
I'm just like want to also say that as a female singer,
Yeah.
I feel like rock gives me so much power.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there is really no limits with rock. There is no rules because I come from classical training,
Mm.
classical singing training, and I had a lot of rules
Mm.
and the standards they were put on me, and rock doesn't have that, and that's what I love it for. It's just a freedom for vocals, just all kinds of range, and
Yeah.
that's what I love it for. And without rock, I think life would be so boring for me.
It would for a lot of us, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, w- where can people find you on social media to follow you and everything you have coming up?
I think the best place would be Spotify. Instagram is a good one too. I have YouTube and Twitter, but I haven't put a lot on YouTube and Twitter yet. It's just all these social medias, they take so much time
It's
away.
a lot.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna have someone help me to manage that because you know what, honestly, I hate gadgets.
Yeah.
And looking like at my phone and tracking and posting, oh my God, it just gives me headache, like my
Yeah.
eyes hurt. And
Yeah.
I think I wasn't very good on managing my social media accounts, and I should because this is where we live right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like not talking about like music platforms, but like personal accounts like Instagram and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can find me on Instagram. Well, soon YouTube too. I have to learn how to manage it to have someone do that for me. But I think Spotify is the best.
Awesome.
YouTube Music, all music platforms, you can find me, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey, your story, and your music. And congrats on everything that you have coming up. And please definitely come back in the future.
Thank you so much for having me too. It was a pleasure.
It was, it was.
Thank
And
you.
thank you. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.